Imagine every desert suddenly sprouting green shoots overnight. The Sahara cracks open with tiny emerald leaves. Antarctica's ice sheet trembles as roots push through. The Atacama, driest place on Earth, turns soft. Mountaintops above the clouds bloom into forests. Even the salt flats stir with strange new growth. But what would this really do to our planet? The science is stranger than any fairy tale. Earth's entire climate engine begins to shift quietly. And the changes start within the very first hour. The first thing trees would do is breathe deeply. They pull carbon dioxide from the air. Billions of new leaves open at once. Each one sips greenhouse gas like a straw. Within months, atmospheric carbon levels begin dropping. Scientists would watch the curve bend downward fast. For decades, we've feared rising CO2 warming the planet. Now suddenly, the opposite problem appears. Earth's thermostat starts cooling unexpectedly. Too much carbon removed too quickly, too soon. Plants also release water through tiny leaf pores. This process is called transpiration. A single mature tree can release hundreds of liters daily. Multiply that by trillions of new trees. The Sahara's dry air suddenly fills with humidity. Clouds form where none formed before. Rain begins falling on ancient dunes. Rivers carve themselves into sand within years. Antarctica is where things get truly strange. Trees there would face a brutal test. The continent is dark for months each winter. Without sunlight, photosynthesis simply stops. Yet imagine they survived somehow, anchored in ice. Their dark leaves absorb sunlight that ice once reflected. This is called the albedo effect. Dark surfaces warm, white surfaces cool. Antarctica's reflective shield would weaken dramatically. The ice beneath begins melting faster than predicted. Sea levels rise as polar forests grow. A strange paradox unfolds across the globe. Trees cool the air but warm the poles. Earth's balance tilts in unexpected directions. Meanwhile, ocean coastlines transform completely. Mangroves already grow in saltwater shallows. Now imagine trees thriving on open seas. Floating forests drift across the Pacific. They shade the water, cooling surface temperatures. Fish populations shift to follow the shadows. Coral reefs receive less sunlight overall. Some species struggle, others adapt slowly. The ocean's chemistry begins changing too. Roots filter salt and absorb nutrients. Algae blooms decline in newly shaded waters. Marine food chains reorganize themselves entirely. But the biggest surprise waits underground. Tree roots reshape soil chemistry everywhere. In deserts, roots break apart hardened crusts. Minerals locked for millennia suddenly become available. Fungi networks spread between roots like internet cables. Scientists call this the wood wide web. Trees share nutrients and chemical signals underground. A global forest becomes one connected organism. Information travels through fungal threads constantly. Earth essentially grows a planetary nervous system. Above ground, the air itself transforms. Forests release compounds called terpenes. These give pine forests their distinctive smell. They also seed cloud formation in the sky. More forests mean more clouds, more rainfall. Weather patterns rewrite themselves continent by continent. Hurricanes weaken passing over endless canopies. Tornadoes find fewer flat plains to spin. Even monsoons shift their ancient timing. Farmers everywhere face unfamiliar seasons. Cities become strange islands in green oceans. Skyscrapers poke through forest canopies. Roads disappear under creeping root systems. Concrete cracks where seeds find tiny openings. Humans must constantly trim back the wilderness. Maintenance becomes civilization's greatest daily challenge. Yet the air in cities grows remarkably clean. Asthma cases plummet within a single generation. Temperatures inside urban areas drop noticeably. Heat waves lose their deadly intensity quickly. Would you want to live in such a world? Tell me in the comments below. Imagine your morning commute through ancient redwoods, or your apartment shaded by 20-story oaks. The thought experiment reveals something deeper. Trees and humans have always shaped each other. Now consider the wildlife explosion. New habitats mean new species emerging rapidly. Birds colonize the polar forests within decades. Insects evolve to handle freezing temperatures. Mammals expand their ranges into former deserts. Camels find themselves living among willow groves. Biodiversity increases at unprecedented speeds globally. Earth becomes a laboratory of accelerated evolution. But not everything benefits from total green coverage. Grassland species face an existential crisis. Lions, cheetahs, and bison need open plains. Forests swallow their hunting grounds completely. Migratory birds lose their navigation landmarks. Open sky predators cannot hunt through canopies. Specialized desert creatures vanish forever. The fennec fox loses its dunes entirely. Conservation takes on a strange new meaning. Saving emptiness becomes as important as saving forests. The atmosphere keeps changing in subtle ways. Oxygen levels climb noticeably higher. Today's air is about 21% oxygen. With global forests, it might reach 23%. This sounds harmless, but actually matters greatly. Wildfires would burn hotter and spread faster. A single lightning strike could ignite continents, yet the rain would extinguish them quickly. Fire and water lock into an endless dance. Earth becomes both wetter and more flammable. Mountain peaks transform most dramatically of all. Trees climb Everest slopes toward the summit. The tree line, once at fixed elevations, disappears. Forests reach altitudes once too thin to breathe. Snow leopards retreat to ever smaller territories. Alpine flowers struggle beneath sudden shade. Glaciers melt faster under darker mountainsides. Rivers swell with unprecedented runoff each spring. Then comes the slow, surprising reversal. Earth's cooling eventually overshoots its target. By century's end, average temperatures drop sharply. Some scientists predict a mini ice age. Northern latitudes freeze despite their new forests. Ironically, trees die where ice returns. The planet self-corrects in unexpected ways. Nature finds equilibrium through dramatic swings. Humans adapt their agriculture to this new world. Crops grow in places never farmed before. Greenland becomes a breadbasket of grain. Siberia hosts orchards stretching to the horizon. Food security improves for billions of people. Hunger maps redraw themselves within decades. Yet old farmland in temperate zones suffers. Cooler summers shorten the growing season. Wine regions shift hundreds of miles northward. Coffee belts move into former tundra. The human story rewrites itself completely. Migration patterns follow the changing climate zones. Cities once built around deserts find new purpose. Phoenix becomes a forest capital almost overnight. Dubai's skyline rises above woodland canopies. Las Vegas glows beneath thick green shade. Tourism, economics, and culture all transform. Identity itself becomes tied to forests. But there's a quieter truth in all this. Real trees already do this work today. Forests currently absorb a quarter of our emissions. They cool cities, seed clouds, feed ecosystems. We just have far fewer than we need. The thought experiment shows what we're missing. Every tree planted is a small version of this, a whisper of the world that could be. The science teaches us something profound. Earth systems are connected in beautiful, fragile ways. Change one thing, and everything else shifts. Trees are not just plants, they are planetary engineers. We often underestimate their quiet power. They built the atmosphere we breathe today. Hundreds of millions of years ago, forests transformed Earth. They made our existence possible. This thought experiment is not really about magic. It's about respect for what already exists. If you enjoyed this journey, leave a comment below. Tell me which scenario surprised you most. Subscribe and hit the bell for more big what-ifs. New impossible questions explored every week. Trees do not just grow on Earth. In a real way, Earth grows because of trees.